All right, good morning again, everyone. As we begin this session, again, just please keep muted throughout the presentation. You'll be able to put your questions in the chat box. So thank you all so much for attending our spring open house at FCC. My name is Jen Seeley, and I'm the coordinator of admissions recruitment and outreach here at FCC. On behalf of the admissions team, FCC as a whole, we welcome you. Thanks again so much for being here. We have a great program set up for you, where you're going to hear from many representatives from across campus about their different areas and departments. Again, please use the chat box for questions that you have throughout the program. We have a staff who's responding to your questions. And as certain presenters are talking about their information, you can feel free to put specific questions about that area in the chat and they can address your questions. So I'm going to start and kick things off here by sharing my screen. All right, so I wanted to show you an overview of the schedule of who you're going to be hearing from today. I won't read all of these departments out to you, but again, there'll be representatives from across campus presenting about their different areas. And again, when you have questions about these different areas or departments, please put them in the chat box and they can address your questions for you. So before we begin, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here real quick because I want to introduce our student ambassadors. Okay, if I can have Olivia and Angel pop on for me. We have two of our current students here. Angel is a second-year student and Olivia is a first-year student. They are going to be talking today about their experiences at FCC, and you'll be able to ask them questions as well. But we will have them introduce themselves real quick so you can just get an idea of who they are and their background. So Angel, do you want to start and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, my name's Angel. I'm a second year at FCC. I'm majoring in general gen ed because I'm planning to get my associate's degree and transfer to a 4-year university. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Angel. Olivia, do you mind popping on?
Yes. Hello. I'm Olivia. I graduate. Well, I'm transferring in the fall. I'm majoring in business administration. I went to Leonore before, Leonore High School. But what other things do you want me to list? I don't know.
That's great. All right, thank you guys both so much for being here. At the end, we're going to have a student panel portion, so start thinking about what questions you'd like to ask some current students. All right, I'm going to share my screen here again, and we will kick off with an overview of FCC and the enrollment steps. So there's something for everyone at FCC, whether you are a dual enrollment student, and we will be hearing from that department today as well, and you're taking classes while you're still in high school, or you're attending FCC as a full-time student pursuing an associate's degree, there's something for you here. You can also attend FCC as a visiting student. So say once you graduate high school and you decide to attend a 4-year school, or you're already at a 4-year school, you're able to come to FCC over the summer when you're back home, and you can take a course or two and have those credits transferred to your 4-year university, saving you time and money. Depending on what your academic and career goals are, will depend on what's the best fit for you or the best path for you at FCC. So we offer short-term training programs or continuing education. These are usually about 6 months to a year, depending on your part or full-time status. We also offer certificates, which are credit-based. They're about 30 credits or 1 full year as a full-time student, and those can transfer. And then we also offer associate's degrees, which are about 60 credits or 2 years as a full-time student. And those, again, are also academic credits and will transfer. We like to tell students the 15 to finish motto. So if you're a full-time student at FCC taking 15 credits a year, that's 30 each year. So that will give you 60 credits in 2 years, 15 to finish, taking 15 credits each semester. Just kind of a nice play on words to remember to get that associate's degree. All right, so we offer over 85 different academic programs to meet the needs of our diverse student body. Some of our most popular programs include those in the healthcare field, like nursing or business administration. Our STEM majors, there's a lot of options for those programs like cybersecurity. And then general studies is also popular for students who may not be sure what they want to study, but want to start at FCC. We also offer many CEWD or continuing education workforce development options. And that area will be talked on later in the presentation today as well. Most of those programs are offered at the Monroe Center, which is part of FCC. So I'm actually going to pull up our website to go over with you our different programs. Okay, so on the main FCC page, I'm just going to go to the main page so you can see exactly how I got there. At the top heading here is programs. You just click on this and wait for your internet to load it. There we go. And this shows up kind of a broad view of the different areas or categories of where our majors or our programs are listed under. So for example, if I click on arts and humanities, I can see all of the majors that are associated under that broad area. So we have sign language, art, audio production, communications, English, graphic design, the list goes on all the way down to theater. So this is a really nice tool for you prospective students. If you're kind of toggling between some different majors, you can look around, see what we offer. If you aren't sure what you want to study, again, this is a great resource for you to look at things. So I just want to dive in. Let's click on business since that's a popular major. Again, you can see all of the degrees offered under business. Let's click on business management. So when you click on a degree, it will show up on the right-hand side here, contact information for that particular major. So you can see that Karen Wilson is the program manager that oversees business. So if you ever have any specific information about programs, you can always email or reach out to the program managers. And that goes for prospective students and current students. There's also program brochures that are on these pages for the particular majors. And then when you scroll down, it shows what letter of recognition, certificate, and associate degrees are offered for, in this case, the business management degree. So let's click on the plus arrow here and see what it says about the business and management associate's degree. Again, this gives a little bit of a synopsis or an overview of our degree. And then we get down into our guided pathways, which is what I want to show you and talk about. So for each major, we have these guided pathways which show you exactly what your curriculum or your time at FCC would look like for these particular majors. So you can see what classes you have to take, the suggested sequence of when you need to take the classes, how many credits are associated with each class so you can kind of balance your workload, especially if you're working, to kind of give you that work, school, life balance. It shows you whether it's a gen ed course or if it's part of your degree that you need to take the class. So this again is a nice tool to kind of, if you're deciding between what majors you want to study, I don't know if I want to do business or psychology or figuring it out, check out the business curriculum pathway, check out the psychology curriculum pathway, and kind of compare the courses of what you'd be taking. These will be used with you and your assigned academic advisor, and they'll kind of be looked at on how classes will transfer and all of that. And you will hear from someone from our CAPS program talking about credits and how things transfer and things like that. So I wanted to point out where you find our programs, just because we don't have time to talk about 85 of them today plus, but really nice things on our website to kind of use to explore those options. All right, so let me get back to my PowerPoint here. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about cost. You'll be hearing from financial aid after me, but to give you an idea of how much it costs to attend FCC, this chart here shows the annual cost for a full-time in-county student taking 30 credits per year. So it's about $4,700 to attend FCC for 1 full year as a full-time student. And we show you the comparisons to a public college in the state of Maryland versus a 4-year private college. And those two numbers also do not include room and board. So if you plan on living on campus somewhere, it would cost additional money as well. The nice thing is our tuition and fees are less than half of what they are at 4-year public colleges in Maryland. It's definitely a smart investment. You get a quality education for the minimal price compared to those four-year public and private schools. And a lot of our students graduate with little or no college debt. So it's really nice. We also offer payment plans that are available through our student account office, and there's many scholarship opportunities through foundation office and various programs throughout campus. All right, I would like to spend some time quickly going over the enrollment steps. How do you apply to FCC? We are an open admissions school, so it's guaranteed admissions. All students are welcome. The first thing that you'll do is apply. So you can do the online application at frederick.edu/apply. Please note that dual enrollment students, you must reapply. Two reasons for this: to be eligible for financial aid and to also declare a major. Then after you apply, start thinking about financial aid. I'm sure Shelby will go into this later, but filing the FAFSA is very important. And then again, scholarship opportunities, most of them are open for us for students who are coming this fall. So definitely want to be checking those out. And then all students, once you're accepted and your application is processed, you'll receive a welcome letter in the mail from us that will have your student ID number and your email address and give you the instructions on how to reset your password to be able to log into your student account. And your student accounts include your email, Blackboard, a new virtual student orientation that we just launched this week that we're very excited for all new students to go through. So you're going to want to reset your password and then complete that new virtual student orientation. It's made up of different modules that goes through the enrollment process, things for you to know as a student at FCC, services offered at FCC, really, really great information for you to be able to go back into as well throughout your time at FCC. Then all of our students who are pursuing credit courses must complete placement testing in math, sentence skills, reading, and writing before enrolling in those courses. It's just an assessment. It's not graded. It's not part of your GPA. You can either do placement testing virtually, or you can sign up to do in-person testing at the testing center at FCC's campus. There are some exemptions if you have any of these. You can send them to us at transferevaluation@frederick.edu, and then we'll put them in the system so you won't have to do placement testing. So some examples of exemptions are certain SAT scores that are here on the screen, ACT scores. If you've taken some AP exams, there's certain scores you need. If you have an unweighted 3.0 or higher GPA from an FCPS school, you're exempt from all placement testing. And then there's several more that are listed on our website. So we'll make sure we put that testing center exemption link for you in the chat box. Then after your placement testing is complete, you will meet with your assigned academic advisor. These are set up based on what major you're pursuing at FCC, will be what advisor that you're going to meet with throughout your time at FCC. And there are advisors to meet with if you're general studies or you're undecided, you'll have a specific advisor to meet with as well. Just as an FYI, registration for summer and fall opens on Monday, April 19th. So that is coming up. Our summer session begins on June 1st and the fall semester begins on August 21st. So we have our enrollment periods coming up soon, which we're really excited about. All new students to college are going to go through ROAR, which is called Required Orientation, Advising, and Registration. And again, we're having representatives from our Career and Academic Planning Services office, so they'll get in more detail about that. But you'll meet with your academic advisor based on your academic and career goals. They'll go over what classes you should be enrolling in and then show you how to do that, and you'll be all set to enroll classes. So here's our contact information in closing. The admissions office phone number and email address, and my personal email address is also on here. Frederick.edu/admissions has all of our upcoming virtual events that you can attend, virtual campus tours, a lot of great resources for you there. And we have an upcoming virtual event on Wednesday, April 21st for the Monroe Centers having an open house through Zoom. If anyone's interested in those programmings, I'd highly encourage you to sign up and attend that as well. All right, so that's there's that for admission. So again, if anyone has any questions, I haven't checked the chat yet, but feel free to put them in the chat box and we will refer and answer those questions that you have in there. All right, so we have our next presenter, who is Shelby Metzger. She's the Assistant Director of Financial Aid, and she is going to pop on and talk all things financial aid, FAFSA, scholarship. So thank you, Shelby.
Thank you, Jen, and thank you guys for joining us this morning. Bear with me just a second. I'm going to share my screen. I have a little presentation for you this morning. All right, so like Jen said, I work in the financial aid office at FCC. I have a really long title, but what it means is that I'm here to support you and help you find ways to pay for college. I work specifically with external scholarships, internal scholarships from the FCC Foundation, and also financial aid from the Maryland Higher Education Commission, or MHEC for short. What I'd like to remind you of this morning is just a couple of things about financial aid. There is so much for you to know. So if you have questions after this, I do plan to stay for the whole presentation, and I'll be sharing some links in the chat once I finish up presenting. So one important thing for you to know is that it's not too late for you to submit your FAFSA or your MSFA. So the FAFSA is the federal application for aid. It stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. We do need to have this on file in order to award you federal aid, which includes things like the Pell Grant or federal direct student loans. If you need help with the FAFSA, we are definitely able to help you remotely. If you're a student that's not eligible for the FAFSA due to citizenship status, the state of Maryland does have the Maryland State Financial Aid Application, or MSFA, available for students to complete for state aid. The priority deadline in the state of Maryland is March 1st. Even if you have missed that for this upcoming academic year, I still encourage you to submit the application. There are some programs that you may still qualify for as far as state aid is concerned, and you can definitely, if you're eligible for the FAFSA, still submit the FAFSA for federal aid eligibility. I want to remind students that you should not submit both a FAFSA and a MSFA. It's one application or the other based off of citizenship status. And if you're not sure which one to complete, definitely contact our office. I'll be linking our contact information once I finish up presenting. I do want to stress that through this remote operations that we are going through because of the pandemic, our office is here to support students. We have had great success helping students with a Zoom appointment to help with the FAFSA, where the student is able to share their screen and a member of our staff walks them through the FAFSA process. So if you are struggling with the FAFSA or you have certain questions, please email us, financialaid@frederick.edu, and we'd be happy to schedule an appointment to assist you with your FAFSA or your MSFA. I do want to go over.
Shelby, we have a question. I just want to make sure from one of the students in the chat, and it was, Is the FAFSA applicable for high school students who are seeking dual enrollment?
No. So students, to be eligible for federal student aid, students have to have earned their high school diploma. If you are a dually enrolled student, there may be Maryland part-time grant available for those students starting with the 2021-2022 academic year. You do have to have financial need, and we are verifying that through the dual enrollment process with students who receive free and reduced meals at the high school. So if you're a student that thinks that that may apply to you, you can definitely reach out to me, and I'll, Laura, if you want to drop my email in the chat, they can reach out to me directly and I'd be happy to help with that. Good question. So next, I would like to talk to you about PeopleSoft. PeopleSoft is our student information system. So if you're a student that's currently an FCPS student, you might be used to Schoology. So PeopleSoft is Schoology for FCC. You log in, and this is what your student center is going to look like. We're going to start loading the FAFSAs for the 2021-2022 academic year very soon. And then we will add items to your PeopleSoft to-do list. So like you see on the screen, I have on the right-hand side, the to-do list is circled. So when you log in, you'll follow this file path here at the top where you can click on the Student Center, and it's going to bring you to a screen that looks just like this. We will also mail a letter to your address on file, so very important to always make sure that your mailing address is up to date. But of course, with the mail, you are going to see it pop up on your to-do list much sooner than you're going to get that letter in the mail. So I definitely always encourage students to keep an eye out. I do want to stress that we can't remove the old items that are in your to-do list. So you want to be looking for specifically ones that say 2021, 2022. These documents that are listed must be submitted in order for us to confirm your eligibility for federal and most types of state financial aid. So please get those in as soon as you see them pop up. Our office does see an influx of documents and inquiries as we get closer to the semester starting in August. So if you see them show up at the end of April, try to get them into us by May, and then that way we can work to confirm your eligibility. Because we are experiencing the pandemic right now, which is a very unprecedented time in our world, I do want to point out that there may be special circumstance appeals available for you. I'm not going to list all of these off, but if you have, for example, loss of employment or a parent has lost employment due to the pandemic, I want to encourage you to contact our office and share these things that are happening with our staff. That way we can recommend if you qualify for a special circumstance appeal, which may increase your eligibility for programs like subsidized student loans or even the federal Pell Grant. We do have a form that students will complete electronically. It's not available yet for the 2021-2022 academic year, but you can definitely reach out to us now and we can go over to say, okay, yeah, that might be a good cause for a special circumstance appeal. I do want to go ahead and say that we are required to collect some documents with those appeals. So I know some students do get overwhelmed with that. Please don't let that process overwhelm you. We are here to support you. If you have any questions about why something is needed, we'd definitely be able to answer those questions for you. Next, I would like to just touch on MDCAPs, which is the state's system for students to log into. If you have not created an MDCAPs account yet, please go ahead and do so as soon as possible. For the upcoming academic year that starts in August, we are seeing MHEC going and requesting documents from students, and soon they'll be making awards. So when you log into MDCAPs, this is what it's going to look like over here. So obviously you can see the links to the MISFA if you're a student who is undocumented. This is where you'll go to get that completed. I also want to point out the enrollment button. If you maybe thought you were going to a four-year school and now you've settled and you've decided that you're coming to FCC first, great choice, by the way, you can go in here and update your enrollment so that way you show up on the rosters that I'll use to award state aid. The awards screen, MHEC will be sending out emails. So like I have listed here, add this do not reply at maryland.gov to your inbox, and that will ensure that their emails don't go to your junk. When MHEC offers an award to a student, they only give you 6 weeks to accept it. So you want to make sure that you accept it as soon as possible. That way you don't lose out on your award. Lastly, I just want to touch on the Maryland Community College Promise Scholarship. This is a great opportunity for students who may not qualify for Pell, or maybe your Pell doesn't cover your full tuition and fees. MHEC is requesting documents, which is the most important piece of this right now, that are due by June 30th. So you want to make sure to get those submitted as soon as possible. Students are required to enroll full-time for Maryland Promise, and you do also have to log in to accept it. One big thing to remember is that Maryland Promise is not guaranteed. There are funding limitations, so you want to make sure you submit your documents as soon as possible, log in and accept, and then make sure you're enrolled full-time so I can get your award on there as soon as you show up on the roster. And I know we're running a little bit short on time. I just want to touch on the institutional financial aid at FCC because the fall application is available now. So if you are looking to pursue FCC and you've already applied, you can definitely go ahead and log in and apply for the scholarships as well. The application deadline is June 30th for the majority of the credit programs. If you're a nursing student, the deadline to apply for the specific nursing scholarships will be the 15th of August. And with that, I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Like I said, I am going to be available in the chat for the entire presentation. I know that's a lot of information, so please feel free to add questions. You can message me directly or add them in the chat for everybody else to benefit from the answer as well. Thank you, Jen.
Thanks, Shelby. There's actually a couple of questions, at least 2 that came in the chat addressing financial aid. So if you wouldn't mind just glancing over there and answering those so we can just move on to our next presenter.
Sure. Do you want me to answer them vocally or do you want me to answer them in the chat box?
In the chat, if that's okay. And then everyone can see the answer. Perfect.
Perfect.
Shelby,
Thank you.
All right, our next presenter is Ann Scholl-Fiedler. She is the coordinator of career services, does a great job with that department, and is going to be representing our new CAPS division that we renamed, which is Career and Academic Planning Services. So thanks, Ann.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Ann Scholl-Fiedler. I serve as the coordinator of career services within Career and Academic Planning Services, and we're really happy that you're here this morning. So you will want to actually meet with an advisor after you have applied and you've done your testing, you've applied for financial aid. So this is our website that you'll want to get familiar with. As Jen mentioned, you will, as a new student, new to FCC, you'll want to engage with what we call the ROAR process. And we have the series of steps that Jen already talked about. It's really important that once you've been accepted, that you log into your accounts with your student ID and your password so that you're ready to go, and to complete this online ROAR orientation. And then what you can do is you can actually schedule your ROAR advising appointment. So you'll see on step number 6, you can schedule with a number of different offices depending upon how you identify. Okay, so if you are somebody who would want to look at multicultural student services, you can actually schedule an appointment with them for your ROAR appointment. Or if you're a veteran or military services, you can schedule with them. And then our main advising office is here, counseling and advising. And what you'll see is that you can schedule, okay, by your area, right? So if you are looking at if you're arts and humanities major, you can schedule here. You can meet with Jenny Moore. If you're a business major, Edward Wangler is your person, your point of contact, etc. Okay, so you'll see that there are various points of contact, which is great because they have direct relationships with the academic departments. They're very familiar with all of the curriculum. Actually, they're familiar with all of the curriculum. So, but it's a great way that we're doing case management with advising. So I just wanted to mention that to you. Now, you will do that. You'll schedule an appointment with your advisor. If you are not sure, okay, about what you might want to do in terms of a major, that's where career services comes into play. All right. And so when you look at this, our website is set up in such a way that you can actually look at exploration of majors and careers, right? So we've got a number of different online assessments to help you look at your interests, your skills, your values, your personality, things that you like to do in your leisure. Because it's really important that you think about who you are as a person and realize that the strengths that you have that you're motivated to use are probably going to be those areas that you might want to focus your attention on with regard to career area. And then what you'll do is, based upon that information that you collect about yourself, a lot of these assessments will provide to you, here's some recommended careers that you might want to explore in further detail. And that's the second step, right? So the first step is the self-assessment. The second step is really researching those career areas, because you want to see what it's like on a day-to-day basis. You want to see if the tasks that person is performing are things that you think you really want to do. How does it align with your values? And then how does it align with your interests as well? So you can see, you'll be able to see within these particular resources too, how you can actually look at occupations. This is one of my favorites. So a lot of times people will say, well, I'm interested in maybe business. So I can look at my career cluster here and I can look at business management and administration, and I can see there's all these different kinds of areas within business. So there's a lot of options. But looking at this will provide you with a little bit more detail, and we can talk about that in further detail together, one-on-one. So you can schedule an appointment directly with me if you would like more information on that. The other thing that I want to mention that Career Services also does is we provide assistance with employment. So part-time jobs, internships, etc. You'll see, this particular tab here, these are schools that are posted directly to FCC. And then here's an internship site as well. Now, over here under upcoming events and programs, what you'll see is that we have a number of different organizations with, colleges and four-year universities that provide information sessions to our students. So I know that some people had questions about transferring. The beauty of this is that we have a lot of relationships with our Maryland four-year universities. And you can see that, for example, even Penn State, right? Harrisburg, they have an open house that's coming up. And then the other thing in here is that we've got specific career events. So something coming up later in April is this opportunities in cybersecurity for critical infrastructure. This is a gentleman that's coming, virtually, to speak with our students in cybersecurity from Siemens Energy. So take advantage of this particular resource. The other thing that I want to point out with regard to transfer is, again, on the programs page, what you'll see, for example, if we look at business administration, there is a tab down at the bottom that says transfer, and you will see that we've actually got some articulation agreements with some schools, and then there are some transfer pathways as well. So this is an excellent source too in terms of transfer. There's one other source that I just want to point out, and that's Artis Maryland. So this is a great tool, and I'll put all these things in the chat for you so that you can reference it later. But this is a great way to look at, how do the courses that I'm taking at FCC, how do they transfer to a particular school? And then I can look at, who's got the majors that I'm looking for. So one thing that I think that's a really important takeaway is that you sort of have to start with the end in mind in terms of what it is that you think that you want to do after you graduate from college. Because not all colleges and universities have the same majors. So that is why it's helpful to be able to declare a major sooner rather than later. So I know we're running behind schedule, so I'm going to cut it at that, and I'll put some of these links in the chat.
Thanks so much, Anne. All really great information, and I know those links will be helpful for everyone to kind of explore after this event as well. So next up, moving on, we're going to hear from Dr. Molly Carlson, who's the Assistant Dean of Liberal Arts, and she's going to touch on our continuing education and workforce development programs, the general studies major, and talk a little bit about our course formatting for the summer and fall.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm representing kind of some different areas today. First, I want to talk to you a little bit about our continuing education area, specifically for students who might be transitioning from high school or from the workforce into programs where they want to get into jobs really quickly. On the screen today, this is a list of our short-term workforce development programs. You can see they're in lots of different areas.
Hold on one second, Molly. Anne,
Yep.
Can you stop sharing your screen? We still see your screen. There you go, Molly. You're up. Thank you.
All right. So now you can see it. So these are the different areas we're offering in workforce development. The trainings are usually fairly short. Some of them as short as a month to 4 months. And they usually generally prepare you for more entry-level jobs in these different areas. But you can see we have automotive tech. We are introducing an advanced manufacturing program starting this year that we're really excited about. Logistics. You've heard a lot about the different logistics companies that have been coming to our area, and just lots of different opportunities for short-term programs. Students are also eligible for financial aid in different ways through these programs, not the typical federal funding, but we do have assistance for getting through these programs. So just to be aware, if you're not thinking of FCC for a traditional transfer degree or associate degree, we have shorter term programs as well. I wanted to highlight our short-term healthcare careers programs because we all know these have been essential careers this year during COVID. We do offer short-term programs in all of these areas. I know in dental assisting and oral radiography, just as a quick example, there's a pretty nice career path and salary in that area for a relatively short-term program if you're interested in the healthcare fields, but aren't sure that you're ready to go into something like nursing at this point. So just want to make sure you're aware of our short-term programs at the college, as well as our associate degrees. Changing over to a different topic here now, I wanted to talk to you about general studies, which is our most popular associate degree at the college. We have the most students in this area, and it's a program that I oversee. And on this slide, it shows you basically what does general studies mean. The general studies degree is just about 10 elective classes and 10 general education classes in the different areas you see here. The general education classes are really transferable all around the state and to many different other states as well. They really make up the foundation of a bachelor's degree and an associate degree. And those are going to definitely be a good investment of your time and money, our general education courses. And then in general studies, the rest of your classes are electives, which means you can look at our catalog and choose the classes that you might be interested in. This sounds really appealing in concept, and it can be a really great way to explore. But at FCC, as Ann Scholl-Fiedler mentioned a moment ago, we really do encourage you to start thinking about what you're going to do in your career right away. So coming to the college and being in general studies, we ask you while you're there to really start to think about what your next steps are. I have a quick true or false for you. Okay, so put it in the chat or think it out loud to yourself. What's the answer to this question? True or false? Majoring in general studies is the preferred way to get my general education courses done before I transfer. Okay, looking for your thoughts on that. True, false, let me know what you think. All right. All right, spoiler, false, okay? It's not the only way. Actually, more than 25 of FCC majors will give you that full program of general education courses to transfer, not just general studies, okay? So if you're interested in English or psychology, you're gonna get all of your general education courses in those majors, not just general studies, okay? All right, one more true or false, true or false. I don't need to start thinking about my career until I finish my general studies degree. Y'all know what this one's going to be. I already sort of told you about that one. So false. Please do start to explore careers that can help you find a job with a local employer. As Ann mentioned, you can save time and money on transfer because you're not taking the wrong classes. And you can make more money over your career, actually, if you start to think about your plans early. Okay, so we really want you to think about that while you're at FCC. The last thing I want to talk about is our course formats. I know we have lots of questions about how are things going to go back to normal during COVID, and I wanted to let you know where we are right now with our plans. We have 3 main modalities of courses for the fall and summer. Our online classes, which are pretty straightforward and what you would expect. These are completely online. You don't need to come into campus, and actually you can do them at home without logging in at a specific time. Okay, so you are going to have assignments that are due regularly every week. You got to keep up with it for sure, but you aren't asked to log in to a live session at any specific time. Okay, so we've got those classes, online classes. We also have structured remote classes, and those are also all online. You're not going to be asked to come to campus at all, but you will be asked to log in at certain times, kind of like this morning, or like you're doing in high school, if you're in high school now, and have a specific class with your faculty member. So based on how you learn and what your experiences have been in the last year, you might know what's better for you to focus and get through your program. The last kind of course we're offering this summer and fall, and we're offering a lot more of these than we have in the past, we're calling hybrid remote. And those are classes that are going to require you to come into campus generally once a week, and the rest of the content will be online. So in your hybrid remote classes, you will be able to come to campus and meet with the faculty member and be on campus with other students with the COVID protocols in place. Okay, so we are offering more of those. So if that's what you're interested in, look in the schedule and talk to your advisor about hybrid remote. Okay. And I know we're kind of running through our time here, so I'm going to stay on the chat to answer any questions that might have come up about general studies or about this course formats.
Thanks, Molly. And again, our registration for summer and fall opens on April 19th, which is coming up. So you'll be able to see our class schedules will be up very soon that you can see exactly the courses that will be available for both summer and fall. Okay, so skipping ahead now, I'm going to ask Janice Brown to come on. She is the director of our adult services, and she's going to talk a little bit about the highlights of the OAS program or department on campus. So whenever you're ready, Janice, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. Hi, as Jen just said, my name is Janice Brown. I'm Director for Adult Services. And so I'm speaking, I don't know who the audience is. I mean, I can't see specifically who is here. There may be some traditional age students who are coming from high school. There may be some non-traditional age students, which we define as 24 and over, or there may be parents of traditional age students who are listening for their child. But I'd like for you to pay attention here because there are opportunities for you at FCC as well. So through the Office of Adult Services, the three major programs I'm going to be talking about briefly are Parents Lead, which is a program for parents of children who are dependent, generally ages 18 and under. We have Project Forward Step, which is for income eligible, either single parents or adults 24 and over who are low income, out of workforce, and or homeless. And then we have the Allied Health Academy, who helps that same population who wish to take certain short-term health-related training courses. So basically, we have several programs that have a proven track record of providing assistance and helping students in this population achieve success. So by proven track record, I mean student success. Our students in our program generally have a higher grade point average than the average student at FCC, and also a better grade point average than students who are age 24 and over. They have better completion rates, meaning completing their courses each semester, and better retention. They started in the fall. We have a better rate of those who continue on into spring semester. So we feel like our services are really helpful to this population. Our academic advisors have extensive experience helping adults and parents choose a schedule that will allow you to balance school along with your other responsibilities so that you can be successful. We help you navigate the entire college system, starting with applying to the college, placement test preparation and referral, financial aid, resource consideration, ways to be successful in your class, and ways to set and achieve your educational and career goals. So you're hearing a lot today. You're hearing about financial aid resources. There are lots of resources to help income eligible individuals pay for college. We know about them, and we also know about specific ones that are just for the population that we serve, adult students and student parents, so we can help you get connected with those resources. And generally, we're talking about aid that you don't need to pay back. This is aside from student loans. I see loans as a four-letter word, and so we're going to try to connect you with aid that you won't need to pay back. And a lot of the scholarships that are available to general students are available to adult students, but there are also some that are specific for those in our population. So if you're interested in attending FCC and you fall into the category of 24 and over with income or out of workforce, or you're a single parent, even if you don't know what your educational goal might be, come see us. We can help you explore yourself and the different programs at the college to help you decide on a career goal. And we can support you whether you're doing a short-term training or all the way through a degree and transfer planning and beyond that. If you're interested in coming to FCC and you know what your goal is and you fall into that income category, please contact us, come see us. And most importantly, if you're interested in coming to FCC, but you have no idea like how you're going to pay for it, come see us. The chances are there is aid available for you, and we'll help you get connected with that. And then lastly, if you're kind of nervous about all the steps that are involved and how to navigate a college system, that's what we're here to help you with. So please come see us. You know, the bottom line is that FCC is really not only for the traditional age 18 to 23-year-old student. There is a place for you here at FCC. We developed an office, an entire department to help support you. We want you to know that you belong here. Others like you have gone before you. The trail has been blazed already, and we're here to help. So I'm going to put our website in the chat, and that's how you can look at our services a little bit more closely, and you can also schedule right through our website. And I'll stay on the chat for a couple minutes in case there are any questions, but I really hope to see some of you.
Great. Thanks so
Thanks,
much,
Jen.
Janice. That's great information about our adult services office. So thank you again so much for being here. And if anyone has any questions for Janice, please put them in the chat. I see there are some questions that are rolling in, and that's great. Keep them coming. We have our speakers and our chat box staff answering those questions behind the scenes. So we will get you those answers as soon as possible. If I could have our two student ambassadors, Angel and Olivia, come back on, I'm going to sneak in a question or two here while we're just waiting for some of our other speakers to sign on. All right, Angel, I saw you pop on first, so you're the lucky one to go first. Why don't you tell everyone why you chose to attend FCC?
I personally chose to attend FCC for pricing reasons and the convenience of it being so close to like where I live, because I didn't really want to pay dorming like $20,000 to $30,000 for like schooling straight out of high school. I was like, I just didn't have that kind of money, so I figured I'd knock out my first 2 years here for a heck of a lot cheaper than just going straight into a 4-year when I have like no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, affordability. We hear that from a lot of our students is a main reason. That's great. Olivia, how about you? Why did you choose to attend FCC?
Well, in high school, I had no clue what I was going to do with my life. And FCC is a great way to kind of explore like what you think you want to do and what you want your career path to eventually be. Also, price is a big factor. It's much cheaper, and with COVID, a lot of colleges at the time got like shut down because of the pandemic, and FCC was like you could take your classes online. You didn't have to pay for room and board. You didn't have to worry about getting cheated out of like unrefundable prices. But obviously that's in the past now. But it's also just a great school. Like you can just they have so many opportunities, so many avenues that you can go down. There's clubs, there's like amazing people and teachers, and that sounds like maybe I'm like either making it up or whatever, but it's really true. It like the people here are great, like not just the advisors and the teachers, but the students as well. Like it's just a great environment to learn, and it's a good like point if you don't know where you want to go in the future. It's a good place to find that out. So
Yeah, that's a great, honest answer. Thank you. Angel, let's do one more question before we get our next speaker on here. Since you're a second-year student and you've had the remote learning experience and then the on-campus experience with classes, can you talk a little bit about that and how has remote learning been for you in that transition, and how are your classes currently going?
Yeah, I was originally on campus for my first semester, I guess you could say. It was both online and on-campus learning have their advantages. I'll just put it that way. When I was on campus, it was a lot easier to get work done because like you're already like there. Like in between classes, you're already in like the learning mindset, so you can just sit down somewhere and do a bunch of work. Also, you have to like see people and ask questions like up front instead of having to like be like online, like, oh wait, how should I word this question? Or like, should I email them? Should I type it in the chat? Like, is this personal or is this like a general? I can just ask, and with all my classmates looking at it. Work-wise, online is much more, you structure it. So like I could do one class, but I could be like, I had like just woken up for that class, so I just like pass out right after.
Yeah, a lot more flexibility with the remote learning as long as you stay motivated and to a schedule. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, thanks, Angel. So let's get back to our presenters. So next up, we have Ivania Amador, who's our adult education and ESL transition specialist. And she's going to cover all things related to adult ed and ESL. So thanks, Ivania, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I am going to preface this whole conversation by saying that we are in a remote environment. So just patience if you do hear, I have 3 little ones in the background. So if you hear little ones, that may be why. All right. Thank you all so much for letting me share a little bit about the adult education ESL area of the college. My name is Ivania Amador, as Jen said, and I am the transition specialist for our department. So a little bit about the program. We serve adult students 18 or older. That's the majority of the students. We do have some exceptions, well, I'll talk about in a little bit, but the majority of our students are 18 or older. And our area really focuses on 2 houses, really. We have 2 houses, I'd say. We have the GED, adult basic education. So those students that are seeking a high school diploma and you're looking to get that, we offer free preparation coursework for that. You must be an adult 18 or older. You do have to live in the state of Maryland, but not necessarily in the county. So if you're in another county or you're working in Frederick, but maybe you live in Montgomery, that's totally fine. The only requirement we have is that you must live within the state of Maryland. And then the other piece of that is that you must not be enrolled in a current public school. So you cannot be co-enrolled in a high school and also trying to obtain your GED at the same time. Same with an additional program that we'll talk about. Again, this program is completely free. So that's the exciting piece of all of this. Our students get all of the materials, the actual learning experience, all of that at no cost to you. And then we do also support our students that take the AccuPlacer. So you may have heard some people talking about the AccuPlacer and advising on the AccuPlacer. We do get a lot of referrals over on our side for students that maybe aren't yet quite ready to start taking particular classes on the credit side of the house. And we get those referrals and we support those students also with free training in the areas that they need, whether that be math or reading. And again, that would be free to the students. The other side of the house that we support are our ESL. So program, these are our language learners, the students that are learning English as an additional language, and that can be your second, third, fourth, 100th, whatever language. If English is not your dominant language, then you may have taken something called an ESL AccuPlacer, or if you're a newcomer into the country, we offer all of those support services for our students. And our ESL program is tiered off into 3 separate program levels, I'd say. The first level being our basic ESL. This is the most basic, and this is the most this is the students that are newcomers or immigrants into the country and are really trying to learn English for life and work. This program is completely free. Same requirements as it was for the GED program, because these are all grant funded through the state. You must be an adult 18 or older. You have to live in the state of Maryland. And again, the purpose of this is for life and work. So really trying to get your way around the United States. If students have an academic or professional goal after that, we also have what's called our pre-academic targeted ESL program. And this program is no longer free because it is only supplemented by the grant. So you would have to take an ESL AccuPlacer to determine your scores within the program itself. And then there are fees associated to the program, ranging anywhere between $400 to $700 about. There are financial scholarships available. So if you need financial assistance, we can also support that and we would help that. And then the last level, the highest level of our ESOL program is our academic. This is a credited program based on tuition. So you would pay tuition pricing for it. But this is really getting students entry into English 101 or beyond. So the students that are really interested into that university degree pathway, that is what you would take in ESOL. I also want to make sure that I mention that if you are a language learner of any level, you do not necessarily have to complete all levels from basic through advanced to get to your goal. A lot of our students are referred into or connected based on any particular scores, and we would connect you based on the appropriateness of what your level is, your experience, and your goals. All of those conversations come together to really find the appropriate placement for you. Okay. If I have any students that are here that are within the FCPS ELL department, we also work a lot with those students. And we work with students while they are in their senior year of high school. Students that are in the ELL department would get transitional support from our office as well to try to ease that transition from high school over into FCC. So you would meet with ELLs that have already transitioned successfully at FCC. You would get support with filling out those daunting applications, your financial aid. Do I qualify for FAFSA? Do I do MISVA? All of those conversations are really facilitated through this collaboration project. You get to you get to visit the campus, even if right now in this remote environment, we're doing that virtually. Students also benefit from practicing the ESL AccuPlacer. There are so many benefits to this collaboration project that if you are an ELL currently within the FCPS school system, I encourage you to connect with your counselors to see how you can get involved in our sessions. While we are still in this remote environment, we are still working with the high schools at the time. In addition to all of those the basic services that we're offering, we also offer additional support, and that is workplace preparation training based on county demands. So we do offer a lot of bridge programming for students that are interested in particular training areas. Like right now we're offering healthcare, CDL for commercial driver's license, accounting. We've also done IT. So based on county demands and needs, we also offer introductory workplace preparation and then help transition you into those degree pathways or career pathways, depending on what we're trying to do. So those programs are supplemented by our basic ESL fund. So those are completely free to our students, and then we would support the transition after that. And then lastly, as a transitional specialist, I have to make sure that I include that I offer transition support for all our students. So students that are really trying to, if you're not sure where you're starting and you're an adult student and you're identified either as a GED student or an ESL student on any side of that spectrum, I encourage you to reach out because we offer transitional support to help ease that transition. That's the whole goal that I have in mind. How can we get you to your goal? And we would literally start with small goal planning all the way to the larger goal planning, and really thinking about your obstacles that could come up along the way. So that includes community resource referrals, finding financial aid if you need financial aid, referring you over to agencies that we work with like Frederick County Workforce Services, and so much more. We offer language labs. There's just a lot of added support if you get service through our office. So if you are referred to our office, stop into our office, however you land over with us, please know that we're really trying to offer the holistic approach for you and giving you a one-stop shop to get you connected and really succeed at the college. So this is, I know that was really fast. I know I only had 7 minutes, so I wanted to make sure I crammed everything in there. But if you do need to reach out to us, I did put all of our contact information there. We are also doing a lot more on our social media platforms, and we are offering a lot of bilingual sessions now. So for Spanish and English, if you are more comfortable in Spanish, we have 3 office members on our staff that do speak Spanish. So we're trying to do a lot more events that are going to be offered in bilingual. So connect with us on Facebook. You can connect with us if you're interested in our programs or classes, or once we're on campus, you can definitely visit us at our conference center at E102. That's it for me. I'll take any questions.
Thanks so much, Vania. Great information. If anyone has any questions for Vania, please feel free to throw them in the chat right now. She'll hang around for the next couple minutes. Thanks again for being here, Vania. So next up on our schedule, we have Eugene Smith, who is the Assistant Director of Multicultural Student Services, and he's going to be talking about MSS and the PASS program from their department. So, Vania, you're still sharing your screen, just FYI. Perfect. All right. Thanks, Eugene.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the invite. I do appreciate this on an early Saturday morning. The good thing is that I'm also at a conference, so that's for the reason why I am dressed up so nicely, but that's neither here nor there. So I just want to quickly share my PowerPoint. Let's see. Oops. That's why the thing about sharing your screen, you don't know what document shows up. All right, great. So again, my name is Eugene Smith, and I am the Assistant Director for the Office of Multicultural Student Services. Today, I'm just going to briefly go over our mission and vision, and I want to make sure that I pay particular attention to the PASS program. The PASS program is our key marquee program that I like to highlight when doing these events. So the Office of Multicultural Student Services provides comprehensive support programs that consist of academic planning, counseling and mentoring, leadership development, and dynamic cross-cultural experiences to ensure the successful transition to college and completion of a college degree or certificate. And so when students come to our office, we affectionately call or refer to our students as family because that's what we like to create in our office. We believe that we are not just an office, but a community of support and advocates for our students. Oftentimes students come to us when they have those questions that they don't know exactly who to ask for. And our goal is to connect them to the resources to help them transition successfully from high school to the college environment. And then also we serve as academic advisors for those students who wish to be referred to us for advising. And so we have that role. And so in our office, we have lots of programs that we do. Recently, we just had a talk with our students that are in the Big Six and Elite Eight program, which is our Men of Color and Women of Color program. And we had a discussion on self-worth and navigating imposter syndrome. And then later on this month, we're going to have a workshop on test anxiety. And so we have a lot of programs that we're doing throughout the semester. So what we do in how we do this is we're making sure that students who come to our office who may be experiencing academic challenges or have difficulty adjusting to college, they have the support that they need. And also students who may have the tools that they need to succeed, but they just want an extra additional support. Sometimes the relationship is key, more than just paperwork or more than just an office. A lot of times what we find is students want a relationship with someone that they can know, that they can trust, to lead them and help them with their transition to college. And that's what we really provide, not just a office, but a family support. And again, we provide workshops and activities for our students to be able to make sure that they're successful. And again, so we want to make sure that we're assisting students with academic planning and guidance to successfully complete college courses and achieve students' academic goals. This involves cross-cultural experiences, creating cultural competence and cultural appreciation through our programming. And then also we want to make sure that we're developing our students' ability to lead. And so we have lots of leadership activities and programs. If we were back on campus, we do a lot of service learning activities, whether that is going out into the community and serving. And because it's more than just going to classes, right? It's about building those relationships with friendships with your friends, your peers, your faculty, your staff, but then also contributing to the community in which you're going to school in, right? So that's what we try to emphasize as well. So again, one of the big things that I like to talk about is the PASS program. We have launched our application for this year's cohort. The PASS program stands for Partnership to Achieving Student Success, and so and we have each year has evolved what the PASS program means, and this year we've taken on all make sure our wording is extremely clear that the PASS program is for everyone and everybody. As they say, everybody and lottie dottie, right? And we're designed to make sure that students who are new and incoming have the ability to participate in this program, and will help students through a summer bridge program, monthly meetings with students, one-on-one meetings with myself, and as well as we relaunched a Winter Bridge Success Academy. And then we do college tours if we were back on campus. And then, of course, college success workshops, which I mentioned earlier. We're going to have a test anxiety workshop. So this comprehensive support system allows us to be proactive and intentional about our students, to make sure that not only do we have the relationships, but we're connecting you to resources. And those who are on the call know they may have received an email from me if there's a student that I need to connect them to. Um, and then also, this is a cohort model. So the students who are begin with us in the summer, they stay with us throughout the year, and and then sometimes I've noticed that they are taking classes together, which was really interesting this year because students were. They had their group chat. We have a reminder. We have our email list, and I've noticed several students taking the same classes together. So we're really interested in thinking about what that would look like if we create a true cohort model where students are taking classes together. Um, right now, because I'm running out of time, I want to be respectful. I want to switch and go to the actual program. So we have created a MailChimp listserv. And what you will see if you have applied and have done testing or will do testing or signed up, or if you've created a username and you have a password, you will get an email from MailChimp from me, and it lists and details, and it invites you to participate and apply. And so this is just a quick view of that MailChimp application. And just want to make sure the PASS program for Summer Bridge begins July 26th and it will end August 13th. And because of continued COVID-19 restrictions, we will continue this session on Zoom. The sessions are 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we do ask students who are going to participate to block out that schedule and that time so that they can be engaged. And then you can just click the apply here button, and that leads us directly to the actual link. And then lastly, I just wanted to give a quick testimonial from a student who has a 4.0 this semester. She says the PASS program has definitely supported and guided me through these very uneasy times with COVID-19. Starting my first year of college during a pandemic has really been challenging, but they've given me tools and advice on how to manage everything. My college experience wouldn't be the same without the program or the support from Mr. Eugene and Ms. Chianti. So with that, I'll just leave a couple couple links in the chat, and I'll stop sharing. Oh, I see the link already.
Thanks, Eugene. I also know several students who are in the PASS program or who've gone through the PASS program, and they just talk about how it's such a great transitional program to kind of get acclimated with college. And like you said, the peers they make, the mentorship that they start with you and Shianti is really great. So everyone, please check out the MSS link and check out the PASS program specifically. And if that interests you, please apply. It's really a great program for you to be involved in. So thanks again, Eugene.
And I want to make it clear, it's open to everyone, as I said before.
Great, thank you. All right, our final speaker is going to be Kate Kramer Jefferson, who is the Director of Services for Students with Disabilities. And Kate will talk about how to connect with SSD and all the services they offer. So thanks, Kate.
Thanks, Jen. Good morning, everybody. I'm Kate Kramer Jefferson. As Jen said, I'm the Director of Services for Students with Disabilities. And I want to share a little bit, I probably won't take up the full time, but about our primary services in the office, how to connect with us in our current remote environment, as well as some supplemental services and supports that we offer to students. So primarily, we're offering the coordination of services and accommodations to students with documented disabilities. So we work with students with all types of diagnoses and disabilities. And then we also assist students with their academic planning, with talking about and planning educational and career goals, with helping students select and register for classes each semester or session. So those two things are our primary and services, and we do those in tandem when we meet with students. We do want students to be the point of contact, contacting our office. It's totally up to each individual student if they choose to use disability services at the college level. But if a student has had a 504 plan or an IEP in previous educational experiences, most specifically in high school, those students may likely be eligible for services at the college level. For students who may not be coming directly from high school but have a documented disability, those students are likely eligible for services. So we do have an intake process. Students would need to submit medical documentation of one's disability to our office. The best way to do that right now in our remote environment is through email, and I will put that in the chat if it's not already there, and that will connect you with our office manager, who will help a student get set up to meet with one of our disability specialists. So we're doing that either by phone or by Zoom appointment, typically right now until we're back on campus. And that will start the process. I will say, for students who may be thinking, I'm not sure if I want to use disability services, still reach out to us. By reaching out and setting up an initial appointment, it does not guarantee, or I'm sorry, not guarantee, it does not mean that you have to use services with our office. If you want to talk with someone first and sort of get a feel for what you might be eligible for, how our office can support you, it is totally up to each individual student what you choose to do. I would recommend contacting us before a semester or session begins. It's most ideal to have services and accommodations in place early so that you can decide how you want to use those. And then we offer students the ability to meet with our specialists really as frequently as would be helpful. We have some students who meet with one of our disability specialists on a weekly basis for what we call touch base appointments. How are things going? What's going well? What are you maybe having some challenges with, so that we can help connect you to resources on campus? And then we have some students who only connect with us maybe as needed or before the start of each semester, so that again, we can help you with that academic planning and a renewal of services. Much like Eugene just shared related to multicultural student services, we want to help students from that first initial point of contact and connection on campus as you're transitioning to FCC, all the way through your completion. And we realize each student has a different goal. It may be completion of a degree, a certificate, a class. We work with students on both the credit side and the continuing education workforce development side. So we're working with every student on campus and want to have an individualized approach with each student based upon your needs and what supports will be most helpful. What am I missing? I think that is the gist. I don't want to provide too many details. I will stay on for any questions that come up in the chat. But I hope you guys have had a great experience today. Thanks for your time.
Hey, Kate, can I ask you one quick question? Could you just talk about some like general services that are offered by SSD just to give students an idea?
Sure. So in terms of accommodations, is that what you?
Yeah.
Okay. So accommodations can be things like extra testing time. Testing accommodations tend to be some of the most common things, like extra time, the ability to test when we're in a face-to-face environment, outside of the classroom, typically in our testing center. For deaf and hard of hearing students, interpreting services. It really is individualized to each student, and that's where that intake process that we have, that's where that comes into play. Many students have had a set of accommodations or modifications available to them in high school. Those students with an IEP or a 504 plan, those don't automatically transfer over at the college level. And that's the whole point of that intake. You may have some accommodations that do still apply at the college level, but we're working under a different set of legal guidelines. So there are many changes. And that's why, again, I would say reach out early so that we can work with you to see what will be available to you, what will be approved. Some other things might be being able to use assistive technology, different software, reading software, writing software, being able to audio record in a class. It really, it depends. Testing, I would say, is the easy example because so many of our students do have that accommodation. We have about 400 students in a typical academic year that work with our office, and probably 90% of those students may have some type of testing accommodation for one reason or another.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Kate. Thanks again for being here. If anyone has any questions, you can shoot them in the chat box now. That was our last speaker before we bring up our students. So I just want to thank all of our representatives from across campus for being here today and talking about your particular areas. If anyone has any additional questions after the event is over, you can feel free to email or reach out to those areas. Some gave out their contact information, others are in the chat box. And you'll also be receiving a follow-up email from the admissions office that has information and website links to all of the different departments. So we will make sure we get you all of their information as well. All right, if Olivia and Angel could come back on for just a couple wrap-up questions. And again, if anyone has any questions you would like to ask a current FCC student, please put it in the chat and we will ask them on the spot. Olivia, let's start with you. How about if you could tell everyone what your favorite class has been so far at FCC, either semester?
So in my first semester, my first major was arts and humanities, and I switched to business administration later on. But in my first semester, I took a class, it was classical mythology, and it's kind of an unorthodox class in terms of like STEM related and so on, but it was such an amazing class. The professor was great. Mr. Thomas Young, he was amazing. The curriculum was great. I'm a person who likes lectures as well as storytelling, and it was just the greatest class.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had a great experience with that. That's great. Angel, I'm going to throw a different question at you. What advice would you give to new students that are coming to FCC? So, they applied, they enrolled in classes, now they're a student at FCC. What some advice would you give to a newest student?
To a new student who's just coming here
Correct.
to FCC. I'd say structuring, but now also high school is online too. What would I say? um, oh, don't be so intimidated because it's like college. I learned the hard way that it was actually a lot more lenient in some ways than my high school class was. Like I could email professors to get like extensions and stuff, like they wouldn't really care. It's like, oh, you have something you do that day, I'll give you another day to do this assignment. Like it's fine. Of course, you're also gonna have a professor who's like been there for however many years, like doesn't care. It's like that's the curriculum, do it by the deadline or that's it. Something else. I mean, I guess I could mention structuring a little bit because in high school you have less work in a lot of aspects. In college, it's a lot more long term. So like you have, if you're taking 15 credits, that's like 5 classes, 5 3-credit courses. So you're gonna have to like space out, okay, this is due this time, that's due that time, so I should get this much done by like Wednesday before I start on another thing. Like you'll probably have a lot of essays due on Fridays and stuff like that. So that sucks. But
Yeah, no, that's
yeah.
really good advice. Hearing
Try
from
to
you,
finish by Friday so you get 2 days off.
Yeah, I'm hearing from you, time management is really important. The nice thing about your courses is you'll get a syllabus for your class. And especially in the remote learning, you can see when things are due. And like Angel is saying, a lot of times things might be due around the same time with exams and finals and things like that. So you just got to kind of time manage and create your schedule according to what's best for when your things are due. Olivia, you are part of the Honors College. So do you want to talk a little bit about what an honors class is like and maybe how you interact with other honors students? Or I know there's an honors lounge on campus. I know we're remote right now, but kind of some benefits of being in the honors program.
So within honors in the honors program, like you have your classes, but then you have additional things that you need to do. So I mean, I just tend to like space things out, but like it with the honors program, I mean, people who will get accepted into it or who want to be a part of it, you'll have a certain like learning style and a certain way to keep track of what you're learning. But I've never been to the honors lounge, but it's just normal school, but with additional things. It's not really complicated. I don't know.
Okay, great. Angel, can I ask you to talk about maybe some support services you've utilized? And we've heard from different departments today about like advising and your advising experience, or there's free tutoring for all students, and there's free tutoring even now online and in person. You can actually go to the library or the STEM Learning Center. Do you want to talk about any support services that you've used throughout your whole time at FCC?
So since I'm assuming a lot of you guys are considering to come to FCC and like one of your first few classes will be English 101, like bare bones English, that's I think required in gen eds, right, to graduate. Okay. When I took that class, like I had to utilize the writing center, which is basically FCC has like this service where other students or professors, I guess, it's mostly professors, help you write that essay, or like we'll review it and be like, okay, you should review this, this, and that before you submit it. That's what saved me in that class personally. I had a really good English teacher when I was on campus who had me, she took the whole class to go to the library and like showed us around with like where all the library services were and stuff like that. But since it's online now, it's an online service, which I'm kind of intimidated to use because you have to like go in, make a specific appointment, and I assume you have to like submit the document somehow beforehand. Or when I haven't used online service yet. I'm that intimidated because I was started at a physical location, like where I sat down in front of them, was like, here's my essay or whatever. Now it's online, so I'm not sure how you submit the document so they can review it. But that saved me in my English class. I highly recommend using it because it's like you come from high school, you wrote like a certain way. It's like, oh, it's an essay. It's like 5 paragraphs long, right? But college is a lot more lenient. Like technically you can write an essay in like 3 to more paragraphs. So you can submit it to them and be like, is this okay? I'm not sure. So yeah.
I'm glad to hear you had a successful experience with the tutoring center, the writing center. That's great. And there are a lot of resources out there for our online learning on our website. I know it's difficult and it's just a new realm or new territory for a lot of students kind of transitioning to this virtual world, but we do have a lot of resources for students, and the support services have transitioned to being online. So you can do the tutoring online and meet with groups and students and stuff that way. So definitely something great to take advantage of. But thank you both, Olivia and Angel, for being here and talking about your experiences. If anyone has any, oh, I see one question came in about what email address would your counselor send your transcript to? We'll put that in the chat. It's transferevaluation.edu. Jane, do you mind throwing that in the chat? Perfect, she's on it. There it is. So this concludes our FCC Spring Open House. Thank you all so much for being here. It was recorded, so it will be on our website within the next 2 weeks, probably. So if you want to come back and reference anything that you heard, it will be available for you to see online. And I will quickly here just share my screen again with the contact information to the admissions office. Again, here's our email address. My email address is personally on here as well. Our phone number, the website, our upcoming staff. So you can sign up for that if you're interested in any CEWD programs at Monroe. But thank you again so much for being here. Reach out if you have any questions. We are here to help, and everyone have a great rest of your weekend. Bye, everyone. Next.